If you enjoyed today's video or any of the ones that you've seen here in the past, please consider subscribing. It really does help me out a lot. So let's say I'm playing Colleen here, and we're about this range, right? Colleen doesn't have a fireball really, but Sagat does, and that makes this a little bit of a hard matchup, and I'm going to be walking and blocking a lot. I'm going to be dashing maybe, trying to close some space, but for now, we're at sort of a stalemate, right? At about this range, because he doesn't want to throw a fireball because I might jump in, and I don't want to jump because he might DP me. And we're going to assume that he's already established an anti-air game, right? That's probably one of the first things that I'm learning to test against people is jumping in, and if they don't DP you or they don't anti-air you, you can continuously jump in until they do. So for this example, we'll just assume that Sagat has been anti-airing me. And there's many situations in this game where you're going to end up where it's just you and your opponent sort of walking back and forth at each other in this stalemate situation, and essentially nothing is happening in neutral, right? That's what the point of this video is what do we do when there's nothing going on in neutral, and don't get caught, idle-minded. Because it's very easy to get relaxed in this position, in a blocking position, and not be looking for anything. What you want to be looking for is a dash or a jump or a walk forward. You want to be looking for any sort of movement and be ready to react to it. So what I've done here is set Sagat to two different recordings. One recording is a dash, one recording is a jump. And now I'm just going to sit here and wait for him to do one. And there I'm ready to anti-air, and there I'm ready to check the dash, right? It was a little far, but you get the idea. The point of this is to emphasize the fact that there is never nothing going on in neutral. Even though physically you might not be moving, or physically your opponent might not be moving, you always have to be thinking, you always have to be ready for something to happen, and you always have to be ready to react to any sudden movements. And you have to be ready to know what button to press, right? That's why the spacing of your character's normals is very important to know, because at any spacing, you need to know what button to press, or you need to know what you want to confirm into maybe. Alright, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about that we want to look for in neutral when nothing's happening is whiffed buttons. So for this example, let's use Zangief's Charge Fierce, right? You're going to see this button a lot at any rank pretty much, and it is one of the most punishable buttons in the game, right? They're not always going to charge it all the way up, but if it whiffs, you can usually just whiff punish it, right? And this is probably the easiest one for you to get practice on. And then once you get good at this, you can move on to other moves and, start punishing smaller buttons or, less obvious things. So for this one, I'd say just learn your character's whiff punish buttons, and then, take a look at some buttons that your opponents are whiffing, and then try and lab them out and see if they're whiff punishable or how you can whiff punish them. Some of the big ones are Zangief Stand Fierce, I think Birdie Stand Fierce, among some other normals. Urian's Headbutt, if he whiffs Headbutt, and the Guile Bazooka Knee, the one that pushes him forward. A lot of people like to whiff that button, and you can whiff punish it, as well as Nash's too, I think. The one where it pushes him forward with the knee as well. And one big one I forgot to mention was Bison down forward heavy. If you have problems with the Bison matchup, play outside of down forward heavy range. Let them whiff it and whiff punish it. It's very whiff punishable. It's very active. So I definitely lab that out if I were you. So the four things we're looking for in neutral are jumps, dash, walk forward, and whiffed buttons. If this video did help you in any way, please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.